We're going to start our meeting. Our guest speaker, Dawn Kelly, is going to be joining us at 10. And I think some of her associates or supporters are on. So we'll, if you folks could just wait around a little bit until she joins, I'd appreciate it. But what we normally do, and welcome to the group this morning. What we do initially, folks, is we do a little bit of a go round so people can introduce themselves briefly. And I'll ask you to do the same. You know, your name, if you have a position that you want to talk about, that would be helpful. Just a short description. So I'll start by saying my name is Alex Corneos. I moderate the group, and I work with Wendy Paff at Wendy Paff Gennaro, excuse me, at QCP, Queens Centers for Progress. And since you folks are new to the group, we've had this group now since March of 2020. And we thought it was going to be a temporary thing, you know, while the pandemic took all of a month to get over, and here we are a year later, and we're still holding the group. So it's been going on for a year. We just had our anniversary last week, in fact. So welcome to our group. Wendy, go ahead and give your intro.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I'm Wendy Gennaro, and I'm the Director of Development for Queens Centers for Progress. And we're just really happy to have everybody joining us this morning.
Okay, Steve Karp.
Good morning, everybody. Stephen Karp, Variable Promotions. We are commercial printers and distributors of promotional items. Anything that bears your name for image recognition, image consistency. Stephen Karp, Variable Promotions.
Thank you. Neil Levin.
Good morning, everybody. Neil Levin, Webline Media Group. We are designing and offering online marketing services to our clients for over 26 years now. So if you need a redesign of your website, you want to get more traffic to your website, let's talk.
Thank you. Cheryl, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, good morning. I'm Cheryl Miller. I'm with Legal Shield Business Solutions, and I work with small businesses, their employees, entrepreneurs, families, individuals, and helping them to get affordable access to legal services and identity theft solutions.
Wonderful.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course. I hope you put your contact information in the chat or send it to me, and then we can include you in the group. Ben Horowitz.
Yes, hi, good morning, everybody. Benjamin Horowitz, most of you I pretty much know, but I'll just give my spiel. So I specialize in group health insurance for organizations. If you have 2 employees up to a couple thousand, if you're unsure if you should be offering health insurance, if it's affordable, if you can't afford it, just give me a ring. I'll be happy to talk you through it.
Thank you. Mara.
Good morning, guys. So Mara Ohanyan, Cruise Planners. I own a small travel agency of a franchise, part of a much bigger organization, and we represent American Express Travel. It's a full-service travel agency. Full service means full service, from individual travel to all kinds of groups, including maybe even corporate incentive groups, whatever. With countries opening, I would suggest this is the best time to start planning something. I promise you. Let's talk now and travel later.
Okay. Robert.
Good morning. Thank you very much. My name is Robert Beam. I actually work in social services. The people from Queens Center for Progress, actually, I don't do developmental disabilities, but they'll understand the SERPA-P, which is, they'll get that acronym. But I also have my real estate broker's license. I worked in real estate for 18 years. I'm trying to get back into that as the city's trying to come back. I did commercial for 8 years. I also did on-site residential, which is really what I'm trying to get back to, because Manhattan is starting to try to come back to life here. So,
okay, Jerry.
Good morning, all. Jerry Schwartz, Jerry the Geek for all your computer needs. I do computer repair for small businesses and homeowners. Is your computer running slow? You think you may have a computer virus? Looking to upgrade or looking for a new computer? Give me a call. And today is World Backup Day, so back up your information.
Oh, today is the day. Okay, very good.
Today is the day.
Everybody take everybody promise. Nancy Vargas.
Good morning, Alex. Good morning, everyone. Nancy Vargas, CEO of DH2 Chauffeur Transportation. What we do is provide safe and private ground transportation services. So if you book a trip with Mara, DH2 will take you to the airport or to any event that you might go to during the summer. And if you want the sparkle back in your vehicle, think of us as well, because we come to you to your home with our mobile detailing service. Thank you very much.
Thank you, darling.
I also want to congratulate Nancy, who just recently became a QCP board member, the latest, and we hope one of the most successful. Martin Ridgers, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Martin Ridgers, insurance broker, do commercial and personal insurance, and can work with companies, especially with reopening right now. A lot of companies need to take a good look at their insurance and figure out whether the values and things they have insured meet now the growth that is likely to occur in the economy, especially in New York. The other one fantastic thing I've seen in the last couple of days is there's a whole recreation of WeWorks being created in Ireland right now, that they're going to take pubs in rural areas and try and make them centers of excellence. So I thought that was brilliant. Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melinda. And good
Good
morning,
morning,
Donna.
everybody.
We'll introduce you shortly.
Yeah, I see.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. And just to, most everybody here knows me. My company is Premier Merchant Consulting Services, and we help businesses to get paid. We have technology that will fit any business owner's needs. So from a solopreneur to a multi-location restaurant or business, and giving them, hardware and software that will help them to manage their business, and also solutions to build loyalty and revenue to promote their business. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you. You have to talk to us about what's going on with Visa. Let's see, we've got Brendis Weinglass. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Brenda Weinglass. I am a business development consultant and project manager with Greater Jamaica Development Corporation. Outside of that, I'm an entrepreneur of my own. Presently, my platform is bodeganeeds.nyc. We are taking bodega culture online.
Oh, wonderful. I hope it includes bodega cats. Don't forget
Absolutely.
them. Okay. Davina.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Okay, my name is Davina Trevisano. I work for MPD Logistics. We provide messenger vans, trucking, post office pickups, deliveries, domestic, international freight forwarding, warehousing with pick and pack with distribution, e-commerce, and our motto is we get shipped on. Thank you.
Thank you, Davina. Tress.
Good morning. Hi, I'm TM, one of the moms at Mom's Kitchens NYC. We specialize in fresh baked breads, brownies, cookies, slap your mama coleslaw, a pineapple mango dipping sauce, and our savory dish, a codfish ball, as a third generation recipe from our family. And we look forward to serving you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tress. Tom Farrell.
Thanks, Alex. Good morning, folks. Sorry you can't see my beautiful face. I'm having technical difficulties. I am a business law attorney specializing in contracts and regulatory matters and some employment matters too.
Thank you. Okay, so we have our guest joining us a little bit earlier than I thought. She's welcome. Today, we're going to be talking to Dawn Kelly, whose business is called The Nourish Spot, and she's got quite a tale to tell. I forwarded to the group an article that was in the London Financial Times about Black women entrepreneurs and the challenges they have faced. I think, Dawn, you have an inspiring story. So would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background before you started the business? And then I guess, specifically the challenges that you faced and the successes that you've achieved since you started. Take it away. I'm going to you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Alex, for inviting me here today to speak to you and the members of OCP. I'm really appreciative, especially because it's the last day of Women's History Month. And so it's just really, really nice to be recognized in this way. So let's get started. First, I want to say hello to my friends that are on the line. Tress of Moms Kitchen NYC, who actually introduced me to your organization, and Brendez Wineglass from Greater Jamaica Development Corporation, which is a big, big partner to me and the Nourish Spot. So I just want to acknowledge them up front. I may have missed some other people, but to all of you that have been supportive of the Nourish Spot, thank you very much. So I am a child of Queens, Southeast Queens, pretty much raised in Laurelton and in Cambridge Heights and Laurelton. I went to public school here. I went to 147, PS 147 Queens. I went to Sacred Heart, graduated from Sacred Heart in Cambridge Heights. And then I graduated from Martin Van Buren High School, which was the same exact high school that my mom graduated from, before going off to Howard University in Washington, D.C. Graduated from Howard University. While matriculating in college, I started working for AARP. Many of you will know that organization as the American Association of Retired Persons. And that's where I cut my teeth actually on learning how to do public relations and global communications. And so I worked with AARP for about 9 years before returning home to New York City to work as Director of Public Relations for York College, which I worked for York College for 6 years, serving at the pleasure of Dr. Davis, who was the first African-American female president at the college, and then serving under Dr. Minter, Dr. Kidd, and Dr. Keys before leaving there and going to work for Prudential Financial, where I worked for nearly 16 years, doing a whole host of different public relations and global communications activities, many of which took me far and abroad. Most of the work I did for Prudential Financial was done in the international countries of Argentina, Mexico, India, Taiwan, Poland, Korea, Japan. I even speak and write a little bit of Japanese. And I would tell you that what Alex introduced me, he talked about the Financial Times. I find this a great full circle moment for me because the Financial Times was one of those publications that I pitched on behalf of Prudential and its products, goods, services, and people. And so to find myself in the pages of such a esteemed newspaper was really a fantastic moment and milestone for me personally. After working for Prudential for 16 years, and as I mentioned, that job was glorious. And if you guys have questions for me, I will answer them. One of the greatest things I would say that happened for me when I worked at Prudential is I worked on a study about African-American financial behaviors and experiences. And I would tell you that that was the germination of the idea of me starting my own business in tandem with my children. Another wonderful opportunity that I had at Prudential was I had the opportunity to work on a campaign with one of our executives around an air race, AIRRACE. And if those of you that are my age, I'm 58, you remember Rocky and Bullwinkle, and they used to have these air races that went around the world. Well, those are real. And I actually had the opportunity to work on one. And with that, I got the opportunity to go to Buckingham Palace and meet Prince Philip. I didn't meet the Queen, but I did get to meet Prince Philip, and I will forever, ever treasure that moment. So September 2015, I go to work from New York, Jamaica, Queens. I worked all the way in Newark, New Jersey. So I took the Long Island Railroad, the New Jersey Transit, and a little commuter bus every day to get to work. And I got to work that morning thinking that I was going off on a trip for the company because I traveled a lot for Prudential. I thought I was going to DC to work on a campaign. And instead, I got called into a room on the 6th floor. And I had been at the company for long enough, and I had promoted and talked to journalists many times about executives that had been let go for numerous reasons or had resigned for numerous reasons. So I knew that the 6th floor was either two things. One, they were going to let me go, or two, they were deciding to do something really big in my department, and we needed to talk about it in a safe space. I would say fortunately for me, now I say fortunately, but fortunately for me, they actually eliminated my job. Now, at that time, I would tell you, I was devastated. I was the first person in my family to make that kind of money. I was the first person in my family to ever go that far up the corporate ladder. And I was proud. I also the mom of 2 kids, one which was still in college. And so I would tell you, my world was thrown upside down. But I am a believer in Christ Jesus. And I just started praying like a crazy person. I would tell you that sometimes I think that God probably says, please, not her. Tell her to please be quiet, because I just kept praying because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to go back in the work world. By this time, I had over 30 something years of working experience. And I really had never worked on my own for myself, taking little clients here and there, PR clients, but, owning my own business, that was so foreign to me. I just thought that was something for other people to do, not for me to do. And it wasn't anything that we really had a lot of experience in my nuclear family or with my extended family in doing. My brother at one time had a small clothing store when he was in the military on base, but that's entirely different than owning your own store. So what happened was I got a severance package because I was a senior executive at Prudential. And so I had put that money in the bank. And then I would also say this, as I mentioned to you guys, I was the first person in my family to ever make that kind of money. And so working at a financial services company, it behooves you to learn all you can about saving, about investing. And I did that. I paid attention to what we were teaching the customers to do. And so I saved my money. I bought stocks and bonds. And so when I retired, thank God, I had the retirement money as well as the savings that I had cobbled together over the years that I had been working for the company. I would tell you that one thing I learned very early on as a child, I would say as a young person working at AARP, is 2 things. One, learning is a lifelong journey. And 2, you need to invest in yourself. So the other thing that I did is when I was 23 years old, I started saving in a 401k, and I've been saving in a 401k ever since. And so those are the vehicles that actually helped me when God gave me the divine idea to open up the Nourish Spot in my neighborhood, in the neighborhood where my grandfather bought the first home ever on both sides of our family. I was able to establish a business in that neighborhood on Guy Arbor Boulevard, and we are calling it the Nourish Spot. Here at the Nourish Spot, we offer all kinds of access to healthy fruits and vegetables that you yourself, who we call nourishers, can combine in any kind of way into salads, smoothies, natural cold pressed juices, sandwich wraps, soup. We have Greek yogurt parfaits that you can customize. We have protein waffles, buttermilk, cinnamon oat. We even have a gluten-free option for those of you that are managing celiac disease. So we try our best to offer a plethora of nature's bounty that customers can customize in a way that fits their hunger, that fits their thirst, that fits their dietary requirements, or just, their palate's delight. We also partner with nonprofit organizations in the community, including Queens Community House, the Child Care Center of New York, Pathways to Graduation, We also partner with SYEP and a number of other organizations to serve as a culinary and hospitality internship training ground. Oh, we also work with the Mayor's CCAP program. And so as a culinary and hospitality training ground, what we do is we invite in high school students and college students to work with us so that they can learn the ins and outs of running a hospitality business, the ins and outs of running a food business. And those young people that show themselves as dependable, passionate about food, honest, reliable, we have in fact hired them after their internships are over. And so we pretty much have turned into our own talent pipeline for young people from the community. And we're really, really proud of what we've been able to do in that particular vein. We have one great success story. One of the young men that started working with us when he was, I think, 15 years old. His name is Sebastian Roseway. He graduated from Grady and he's now, I believe, at City Tech College. He actually started his own business last year during a pandemic. And while we can't take full credit for him starting the business, we do take credit for coaching and guiding and mentoring him and putting him in positions where other people could see and taste his food so that he felt strong enough, I guess, inspired enough and motivated enough to establish his own LLC. So we're really, really proud of that. And additionally, I now serve as a coach for the New York City Small Business Solutions Center, where I am helping other women and people of color establish their own businesses. People come to me on a regular basis, pretty much on a daily basis, via phone, internet, or walking up to the door, and they actually ask me to help them. And I would tell you that I'm flattered by it because, again, I'm just really 5 years in of doing this myself. And for my life and that of my children's life and the Nourish Spot to be a beacon of hope for others, we're deeply gratified with that. And, you know, we're here to help. We partner with pretty much all the sororities and fraternities in the area. And I'm proud to report that just in this last week, I was named to the York College foundation board, which is a great full circle moment here. I used to work there and now I'm on the board. And then just yesterday, last night, I got word that I was invited to be a member of Community Board 12. So I'm really, really, really proud of what we've been able to do in the community. And I'm looking forward as a MWBE certified business and an ACDBE certified business. I'm looking forward to the opportunities in the future to grow and expand, hopefully in an airport or a stadium near you. Thank you.
I think, hold on, there we go. I want to applaud you, Dawn. Congratulations. That's a great story. It really is.
Actually, I have one question to ask. Do you have any guest chefs that come into your school to work with those people?
No, I don't have a school. It's an actual brick and mortar establishment. So no, actually these young people, they're chefs themselves. They actually were trained chefs. 3 of the staff members that I have on staff, Sebastian, a young lady named Nusrat Degna, and another young lady named Amaya Lynn. They are actually chefs. They graduated from school with their credentials, and I'm really proud of them. So the food that we serve here, like the soups that we make here, they're actually made by our chefs here. And oh, I forgot to mention this. My daughter, who is a co-owner of the business along with me. My daughter is also a chef by trade. She was trained at Johnson & Wales University. She's worked all over the world on cruise ships, at the Masters tournament, at Disney. And so she is the one that is also teaching these young people about the art of designing and cooking food.
Don, why food? Why the Nourish spot? You know, you were in a financial services business. Why that? I mean, nothing wrong with it. I'm just asking, how did you make that choice?
Well, that's a great question, Alex. I was actually on my own health journey. So when I started at Prudential in 1999, the ladies will understand this. I was a svelte size 8. And by the time 16 years later turned around, I was now a size 16 and my health was suffering. You know, that came from traveling around the world, eating at all different times, socially drinking, you know, just not really paying attention to my health in the way that I should, not sleeping as much as I should. And so, you know, and many people don't realize, but sleep plays a big role in your health. Most people don't get enough sleep. So if I tell any of you anything today, outside of coming and allowing us to nourish you, please try your best to get 8 hours of sleep, because during the night, your metabolism your sleep helps to fix all the things that are going on in your body. So you need that sleep. So please try and get your sleep. So Alex, I was on my own health journey. And when I didn't want to cook in my home, right? When I didn't want to mess up my kitchen, I would want a salad every once in a while. And would you believe that I would have to drive all the way from my house, which is nearby my store, to Panera in Woodmere, which is 5 towns. And I used to think that that was kind of crazy that we didn't have a local salad bar that I was comfortable with going in. Not one that everybody could put their hands in, but something that I could, you know, be sure of it was not contaminated. And so I always told myself, if God gave me 2 cents past my lunch money, I would establish something in my neighborhood, but I wasn't quite sure what. And when I was home, lamenting over the fact that I wasn't quite sure what to do with the rest of my life, as a PR person, I watch the news probably more than anyone else, because those are the people that I'm usually pitching stories to. And so I'm always checking out how stories are being handled on the news. And this particular morning, when I was lamenting and praying, a segment came on the television about a rapper named Styles P that had opened up a juice bar in Westchester. And Alex, that's all I needed to see. Once I saw that show, it was all on and popping for me.
Okay. So the article talks a little bit about the challenges that, and I don't mean to, you know, put anybody on the spot here, but part of the article talks a little bit about the challenges that Black entrepreneurs face in getting financing. Can you address that a little bit? And if your friends or anybody else in the audience wants to address it, please do. But Dawn, I'll address the question to you first.
Well, the first thing is just as a general practice in America, we all know that African Americans, and let me just back up one thing I want to say to everyone so you know where I'm coming from. I am a African American studies major from Howard University. So when I speak about these issues, these are things that I was trained for from my professors at Howard University. I have a BA in this. So the first thing I would say, Alex, is that African Americans have been disadvantaged from the door. From the moment that we were brought into this country as enslaved Africans. As we built this country, we ourselves were seen as business, okay? We are the first and only people in America that were brought over here on the balance sheet, okay? And so we've really not had the opportunity disproportionately to engage in the American dream like most other people. Not saying that other people haven't gone through their trials and tribulations, because most races of people, cultures of people have gone through some tribulation to get to the American dream, but African Americans by far have suffered the most. We've suffered through redlining, which means that banks don't loan us money to buy homes or to open up businesses. And so as a result, Black people as a whole have had to use a lot of different methods to open up businesses or to get housing. So in my case, because I knew all of that, I didn't even approach a bank. I just cobbled together my money, and I prayed a lot, and thank God it worked. And so I was able to establish my business with all my own money. I don't owe a bank not a dime. I don't owe a friend a dime. I don't owe anyone anything. This is a cash run business that my children and I are running with the help of vendors that we trust, you know, like a CPA, like our tax people, you know, working with the bank and the Clover Commerce, who helps with our POS system. So we are just, you know, moving along on with using the cash that I had saved to keep the business going. Now in 2020, it was difficult, right? 2020 was like crazy because, you know, first we were open and we were a community gathering space and we were allowing people to come in and sit down and talk and eat at the bar or eat at the tables, share information. But then COVID stopped all that. So we had to pivot. And so what we did is we pivoted to curbside pickup. We created a QR code where people could scan our scan a little QR code on our window, which would take you to an app on Clover, and you can order the food yourself from the comfort of your home or your car. We also had a heavier reliance on all of the food delivery apps, you know, DoorDash, Caviar, Uber Eats, Postmates, Grubhub, Seamless. We had a heavier reliance on them because a lot of people weren't coming out of their home really, you know, to come buy food, but they were accessing the apps. And so we actually relied on them. And then the other thing is that before COVID, we were already using gloves, right, to assemble people's food because that's the sanitary part of New York City's rules and regulations. But now because of COVID, I don't have mine on now, but my staff and I, we all wear masks all day long as we are interacting with each other and as we are interacting with the food that we are customizing for our nourishers. We also purchased a contactless POS system. So when we went to the door, instead of having to take the person's order at the door, then come all the way back to the cash register and put it in, we brought a contactless system that we could take the order at the door as well as the payment at the door. So customers would feel comfortable about handing over their credit card and knowing that it wasn't going to walk far away from them. And then we also take the temperatures of all our employees, including myself, to make sure that we're all healthy when we walk in the door. And then last but not least, Miss Brenda's Wineglass, who's on this line, she also introduced me to a firm where we actually have germicide sprayed every quarter to also try our best to keep any germs from flourishing here at the Nourish Spot on top of our regular sanitary procedures. So those are some of the things that we've done, and we still are on curbside pickup only. We're a really small space, and I'm really trying to keep my staff safe as well as myself. And so for the foreseeable future, we're going to stay at curbside pickup and heavy reliance on the food delivery apps until this so-called herd immunity is realized in New York City.
Thank you, Dawn. Nancy, did you have a question or you wanted to make a comment? Or maybe you were just applauding what Dawn was saying.
No, I was definitely applauding Alex. And Dawn, what an amazing, inspiring, motivating, and empowering message. Your story was amazing. And thank you so very much. Being a woman, a minority, a Latina, I hear you, girl. You know, the struggle is real. But I think that, you know, when you have a passion and you have a love what you do, doesn't matter if you're Black, Latina, Asian, doesn't matter, right? You're going to go out there and you're going to do what you love to do. And I just definitely applaud you, commend you for all the work that you're doing in your community. I hear your passion, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful that you spoke to us today. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
I actually have a comment also.
Robert.
Since I have such a background in real estate, I do know about the redlining, believe me, because when I was in real estate active in the 80s, it just really ended. And the redlining, actually, one of the places that was worst hit was Canarsie, Brooklyn, where actually it's one of the places where it made the news about it. And since I drove for a car service for a few years, I drove all over the city. And I'm telling you, I'm sure you know already, that West Harlem has transformed itself from a place that you couldn't walk in 3 o'clock in the afternoon to now I can't afford to buy anything there at 3 o'clock in the morning, because when I was driving, I used to drive people. They have new condos over there in West Harlem that you have to spend $3 million on now, without exaggeration. And there, if 25 years ago, if you said to someone that a condo is going to cost over $1 million to buy in West Harlem, they'd ask you what medications you were on, or they'd offer you to put you on some, because obviously you're nuts. And if you look at how the area has transformed itself, it's unbelievable. Ironically, East Harlem has not done the same job as West Harlem has done. Yeah, I'm very familiar with city real estate because, like I said, I still have my toes in the business since I'm actually still licensed. But of course, I understand. And there are so many communities right now with the pandemic that have been affected so broadly. It's crazy. You know, it's African American, Latino, and now so I run a couple of Facebook groups, and the big thing that we're doing right now, the push is because of all the violent incidents taking place against the Asian community, and we're spotlighting that because how do you beat someone up and see it and not do something about it? It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. So all communities deserve to get helped out. The mayor's office has outreach to so many communities. I work in social service right now. I deal with this all the time. I'm helping people every other day of the week to different things that they need help with. So if there's anyone who's sensitive to the needs of all populations, it's me, because I have them as members of trying to help them get back on their feet.
Thank you. I want to open up the floor to questions or comments. Does anybody want to ask Dawn or a question?
Comment.
Yes.
Comment, Tress here.
Oh, Tress, go ahead.
Hi, morning, everyone. Dawn is one of those young ladies that has been inspiring our community, inspires me. It's a pleasure working with her. I love her to death, and I just love the fact that she's so energetic and willing to share her knowledge. That's one of the items that we're sometimes afflicted with, not being willing to share what we know with others. Dawn is open and willing to share. So thank you, Dawn, for sharing again with us today, and we appreciate you and love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you,
Dawn. Hi, Dawn. I am just so overwhelmed by your success. Now, you know I'm a fan. You know I've been to Nourish Spot from the very beginning. I love the food, I love the juices. But what I admire the most is how you, as a businesswoman, have taken your knowledge of marketing and promotion, and I sat back and watched you soar. And I'm like, businesses come and go. And they say the life of a restaurant, especially in food, is maybe 5 years. But what you've been able to do in such a short period of time in marketing and promoting your business is really one for the books. And I applaud you. And the other thing, as you well know, bringing fresh fruits and salads to the South Side is I think the catalyst now for the next level of food services in our area. And I think that model is really, really phenomenal. I'm so proud of you. And I'm just sitting, I'm sitting back and watching you fly, and I love it.
Thank you, Cheryl. And I must tell everyone that I've known Cheryl for a very long time. We sat on a board together. And what's a wonderful thing, and I don't even know if she knows this, but one of her little cousins actually Tachi works for the Nourish Spot now, Cheryl. And so it's just amazing how we've been able, my children and I have been able to hire young people from the community. I would tell you that it really gives me great pause, because I remember when I was a young girl and they had opened up a new supermarket around the corner from my house, and I just wanted my own money, and I got hired. And so for me to be able to do the same thing for the young people in the community, I tell you, it gives me great, great, great pleasure.
Kudos. Kudos.
Brendez, I think you had a question. Where'd she go? There she is.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm here. More of a comment. There's not enough nice things in the world for me to put together that describe Dawn. It's just honestly been a pleasure in mentorship and friendship. She's such a light here in Southeast Queens, and so refreshing and just so necessary. And beyond the food that she provides and the diversity that she offers, and the level of intention that she puts behind the food so that it meets her mission in all words and realms, is that she's nourishing the minds of those young people there. She goes out of her way beyond providing them opportunities to make income and take home and really change the dynamics of conversations that are happening with families. For young people to bring a check home means that a conversation about hanging out is more about, can I go, as opposed to more if I can go, as opposed to can I go, because now they have income. Beyond that, there are so many wonderful people that patronize her shop that she is a connector of sorts. And so these kids are getting so much more than a paycheck. And it's the incubator that she has there is such a dynamic model. But again, there's not enough nice things I can say that that would really meet the standards in which Dawn is excelling at with the Nourish Spot. And I love what Cheryl said. You know, some restaurants and businesses by statistics would be failing, and she's really just getting started. So congratulations, Dawn.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. And I just want to shout out Greater Jamaica, because Greater Jamaica has hosted quite a few programs to help entrepreneurs like me. So I would tell you guys that I didn't really know anything about running my own business, but I did not let that stop me. What I did was seek education, you know, learning in college that all you got to do is go find the books and study them, and you can get the degree or the certification. That's exactly the same process that I have followed to learn about business. So I've taken classes with QEDC. They have a wonderful program that's only like $100. That's like 8 months long, and it's really, really, really specific, and it gets down to the nitty gritty of how to do business. I've also taken classes. I'm taking a class right now through the Rockaway Revitalization Development Committee. It's called Streetwise MBA. And what it is a business program as well. And it's been going on, I think, since October. I think I've been in this program. And it's been a 13 weeks or 13-month program. And it's been so interesting. I'm learning so many more things that I ever thought I would need, and now I feel so much more comfortable in running the business. So that's another thing that I want to explain to everybody, that you know, you may not know everything, but don't let that stop you from jumping in. You might be afraid, but don't let that stop you from jumping in. You know, let those butterflies kind of propel you forward to go and get the information or find the people to help you, because that's the other thing. There's so many people, either Greater Jamaica, RDRC, the bid, the Greater Jamaica bid, the Jamaica bid. There's so many people, the congressman, Senator Comrie. There's so many people out there that are willing to help you if you just let them know that you need help, and if you just let them know that what your goal is to make a positive contribution to your community. And that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Dawn, I just want to add how happy I am to see you here and to meet you in our group this morning. I hope you'll come back and you'll join us. One of the things, and I say this all the time, you know, we started this at the beginning, at the outset of the pandemic, and we're really grateful as a nonprofit organization to have this business group who meets every week. But what I love most about it is that everybody who's come through here, with very few exceptions, has been positive about their businesses during the pandemic and did not lose hope and found ways to make things work like you did and you have. And it's just so inspiring, and you're just a wonderful addition. So I hope you'll join us again. And it's great.
Yes,
Great
thank
to
you.
hear what you have to
So
say.
I have a couple of questions to ask.
oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. What is QDEC? Because I'm looking for it. I don't see what it stands.
Okay, it's Queens Economic Development Corporation. Okay. Please reach out to them. They have so many different kind of programs for men, for women, for entrepreneurs. Tell them Dawn Kelly sent you. They will be really happy to
And
know
the
that.
next thing is a Streetwise MBA. Is that part of Interrise.org?
Yes. And so I'm next Tuesday is be my last class. I'm getting ready to graduate. So I'm really thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really, really proud of that. And then I also wanted to say this. I didn't really speak about this a lot, but I want to share this with you. Another way we were able to pivot in 2020 is that because of all of the issues I mentioned about African Americans not being able to access financing for businesses, there were a lot of grant opportunities that came out during 2020, and there are still a few that are coming out now. And I would tell you that I also leveraged my background in promotion to create a narrative about the Nourish Spot and the positive impacts and contributions that we're making to our community. And I submitted, so I can't even tell you how many grant applications. Now, it's tedious work. And I would tell you that occasionally I, fell asleep on the applications. No joke, just fell asleep right on top of my computer in trying to submit them in time to be considered. And I'm really proud to announce that we got some really great ones. We got a grant from LISC, that's the local Initiative Support Corporation, and they give grants to all type of businesses. It's not necessarily just for Black BIPOC businesses. We also got a grant from Beyonce and the NAACP, and we were really, really proud because Beyonce put our gate on top of her website. So that was great promotion for the Nourish Spot. And then this year, we got a really big grant from an organization called Anastasia Sur Beverly Hills, which is a beauty brand out of LA. But she's a Romanian immigrant who came to the United States so many years ago, and she was not treated in a way that she thought she should have been. And as a result, she aligns with some of the same challenges that African American women business owners have been navigating over all of these years. And so she established a $450,000 grant fund, and then she picked 8 businesses and gave them money. And I'm very proud to announce that the Nourish Spot was one of the grantees to receive a grant from Anastasia Suor. So that's really what I've been busy doing. If I'm not in the business, owning, operating it with the staff, I'm actually working on the business to figure out ways in which we can grow and thrive.
Okay, the only other last comment I have for you, by the way, thank you, very nice speaking to you. And don't be dismissive of this, okay? You have a bachelor's degree, okay? You cannot understate how important it is to have that, because so many people don't. I work in social services. I am a lot of people who don't. And the other thing is that even though I have a LinkedIn presence, there are so many people with graduate degrees on LinkedIn that if you as a small business owner with your bachelor's degree, with some of your other organic talents you have, that's the reason why you're so successful. It's organic to you, and it is great because I'm hearing you with all the grants. It's not easy to write a grant proposal. People actually get paid a lot of money to do grant proposals. They write 3 a year, and they make in their year. I know because I've spoken to people who do it for a living.
Yeah.
You did all of your own, and there's a methodology behind writing grants, and I'm sure you looked it up on Google, and they have a whole bunch of templates you use. But it goes to another thing, which is that there's actually an art to writing for the web. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yep, yes, I do.
There's an art to writing for the web because there's a style of writing where your work is captured and it's given a higher rating. And when you're writing grants, that goes to it because the first thing they're going to see is how is it captured. They're looking behind the scenes. They're actually software tools. They can look behind the scenes to see how well your grant is written, your grant application is written, and how well it'll be reviewed. And I'm sure you've looked at that also. So if you're able to do all that, kudos to you.
Okay. Tress, did you have another question? Did you have another question, Tress?
No, that was my original hand.
Your hand was still up. Okay. So we're going to close up, but I wanted to say thank you so much to Dawn. It's been wonderful listening to your story, and I hope you'll come back. As Wendy said, you're welcome here every week, and as are your. Somebody
Alex,
said something.
Can I add one thing?
Go ahead. I didn't see your face. Go ahead.
I just wanted to point out, since Melinda put in the chat about the PP deadline being pushed back, and because the QEDC and some other programs have been mentioned, our own Roy Pelicano, who couldn't be here this week, is expert in the PPP applications and some of the other loan and grant programs. It's one of the big things he does as part of his business. So if you don't have Roy's contact information from a previous session, reach out to me, please, and I'll get it for you. But for those of you that are considering either a new PPP application or the SVOG or some of the food specific ones, please consider contacting Roy. He's really good at this stuff.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Alex.
Go ahead, Martin.
Just to add to that too is I also worked with SCORE. I don't know whether Dawn ever worked with SCORE too.
Yes.
That's another way to get access to business owners or business executives that have skills that you may be looking for, and it's free.
Yes.
It's free, and it's free here in New York, and they're also very connected with the SBA, and that can also help you with grants and other things, and they try and connect you up. I don't know if you use them too, Dawn, but yeah.
Yes. Can I just say that? I'm sorry, Alex, but Martin, thank you so much for bringing that up. When I was starting a business, the first people that I visited was the SCORE office in Manhattan. Okay. And I had two guys. I'll make you laugh. They reminded me of Mutt and Jeff, but they changed my life, okay? Because I was going to establish my business as an LLC, and after talking to them, they talked me into an S Corp, and I'm so very glad that I had that access. Additionally, I want to also say the SBDC at your college, okay? If you guys have the access, have the opportunity to reach out to Brian Young at the SBDC at your college, he is a world of wealth of information and help. They can help you as well. And then the last thing I forgot to mention, and this is the most important, in 2019, the SBA actually named the Nourish Spot the Micro Business of the Year. So I'm really, 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 really proud of all the help that we received from the SBA, the SBDC, and SCORE, because if we wouldn't have had the help from them, we wouldn't have been able to get that designation in 2019.
Dawn, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this, and I hope you'll come back and your friends. It's wonderful to hear such an inspiring story, especially at this time. We wish you all the best. And again, I want to thank everybody for joining us this week. We'll continue to have guest speakers. I hope at the same caliber as Dawn. And please join us each week. Thank you very much, all. We'll see you next week.
Have a great weekend. Happy Easter to everyone celebrating.
Take
care.
everyone.
Have a great weekend.
Congratulations.
Have a great
Dawn,
week.
I sent you a private message.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
perfect. File. I'm gonna file this.
Bye-bye.
Google Drive. Okay. Okay, connect.